Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Katalin Liptak. I am an associate professor and head of department and vice dean in the University of Miskolc in Hungary. Today's topic will be the role of the green labor market in the development of this advantaged era. You can see in the most important part of my presentation. In the 21st century, sustainability and protection of the environment are high on the strategic agenda of every national economy. While environmental sustainability, renewable resources, and their growing role are often discussed, the sustainable labor market is less so. Labor market sustainability can be approached from several angles. In terms of green labor market and green jobs can refer to employment in a narrowly defined set of industries providing environmental services. However, it is more useful for policymakers to focus on the broader issue of the employment implications of policies to correct environmental externalities. Much of the literature focuses on direct job creation and only superficially addressed indirect job creation. The potential negative effects of green growth policies on labor productivity and employment costs are generally ignored. In future, more attention should also be paid to how labor markets operate in different types of economies. Gaps between shadow wages and real wages can emerge, especially in developing countries with segmented labor markets and following adverse aggregated demand shocks, while justify long-term incentives for green projects with high labor content. Stimulated structural changes can be accompanied by active labor market policies. Thus, the future expansion of green jobs should be a priority for all countries. In the post-1980s period was marked by a revolution in the spread of proliferation of microelectronics. The spread of information and communication technologies has decisively changed the space in which businesses operate, compete, and trade. The information revolution offers firms the opportunity to improve international efficiency, increase productivity, and bridge the geographical gap between buyer and seller. There is no doubt that technological change is a vital factor for growth and the developing world. Many developing countries have experienced the structural transformation of their private economies, which has led to the growth of service industries. New technologies has ensured the strengthening of this sector, but this has also been accompanied by a level of job creation. The impact of globalization is also reflected in the outsourcing of production, which is now increasingly referred to as outsourcing or offshore outsourcing. The reasons for outsourcing include low transaction costs, wage differentials, cheap labor, and where appropriate skills shortage. As a result, jobs are lost in the outsourcing country, leading to the spatial reallocation of employment. As regarding the future effects of outsourcing, Senate argues that we are witnessing the disintegration of traditional economic institutions. According to Senate, the workplace of the future will be more like a railway station than a village, where people stay for a short time and then move on. A comparison of the size of population and employment in countries around the world illustrates that employment cannot keep pace with population growth. The European Commission is launching an unprecedented effort to accelerate the transition to a clean, sustainable, and smart economy through the European Green Deal, which will trigger major public investment in a range of green economy areas, from renewable energy and storage technologies, new grid and transport infrastructures, materials recycling, and circular economy. The European Green Deal is a new growth strategy that aims to transform the European Union into a just and prosperous society with a modern, resource-efficient and competitive economy with no net greenhouse gas emission by 2020, and where economic growth is decoupled from resources use. European Green Deal funding has been increased to respond to the coronavirus crisis in response to both the climate and pandemic crisis. Defining green jobs is not an easy task, as the literature is not yet consistent. According to the current International Labour Organization's definition, the green jobs adopted by the ILO resources guide on green jobs. Jobs are green if they contribute to reducing negative environmental impacts, ultimately leading to socially and economically sustainable enterprises and economies from the environmental, economic, and social point of view. More specifically, green jobs are decent jobs that reduce reduce energy and raw materials consumption, limit greenhouse gas emission, minimize waste and pollution, protect and restore ecosystem. Green jobs are jobs that reduce the environmental impact of businesses and economic sectors to ultimate sustainable levels. This definition applies to work in agriculture, industry, services, and public administration that contributes to preserving or restoring the quality of the environment while meeting criteria for decent work. Decent wages, safe conditions, workers' rights, social dialogue, and social protection. By its inclusive nature and scope, it means that every workplace has the potential to become greener. Over time and with the increasing shift to a green economy, what is today a green job may not remain a green job. The understanding of green jobs also varies from country to country. Green jobs are either jobs in enterprises that produce products or provide services that benefit the environmental and conserve natural resources, or jobs in which employees are required to make their establishments' production processes more environmentally friendly or use fewer natural resources. The definition divides green jobs into three main categories: renewable energy protection, energy efficiency, and environmental management. Green jobs have only become the subject of economic research in the last 15 years. The impact of globalization has increased, and demand for secure forms of employment as opposed precarious ones. And one could say the atypical employment is replacing typical employment. In some countries, atypical employment is now considered typical. The numbers of years worked in employment is increasing, and the retirement age is being extended. You can see on the chart the three main parts of green labor market: the decent work, the green products and services, and environmentally friendly processes. Our research hypothesis, the social and solidarity economy, which is currently experienced in Hungary, can play a much bigger role in peripheral development. In the fact that solidarity economy sector is underdeveloped in the post-socialist countries, including Hungary, especially in its rural peripheries, the heritage of the state socialist has a significant role. And the social benefits of social cooperatives, which are the main pillar of the solidarity economy, are important for the rural peripheries and for the sustainable labor market. What does it mean, the social economy? The transition to a green economy is accompanied by a structural economic change, which also affects labor markets. Labor markets need to be designed to be a dynamic and efficient law for a structural change. In addition, A number of specific challenges for employment policy in the context of the transition to a green economy have been identified. One important challenge is to develop and adopt education and training programs to the skill requirements of the green sectors. Another challenge for the implementation of green economy strategies is how to deal with shrinking sectors and the associated job losses. The policy instrument for the transition to green economy cannot be easily transferred from one country to another, but need to be adapted to the specific economy, institutional and social context. Therefore, an important step in calculating the different options for stimulating labor demand in the context of green strategy is to analyze the possibilities for creating appropriate value chain and domestic supply chains. Existing economic structures should also be taken into account when introducing environmental taxes or other controls that affect energy or resource prices. Social enterprises are seen as the building blocks of the solidarity economy. In the 19th century, the solidarity economy was called into being by the main problems of the modern capitalist economy: high unemployment, the rise of poverty, and a series of environmental problems. The focus of the solidarity economy is to address some existing social problem and not to make a profit, and therefore many see the role of the solidarity economy as trying to reintegrate the economy into society, also called the third sector. The solidarity economy is often seen as an alternative to capitalist development, a possible new model for the development. The most typical type of cooperatives, the cooperatives is very important types in Hungary. The solidarity economy is also often seen as an alternative to capitalist development, a possible new development mode. Social economy refers to social enterprises operating within the framework of the market economy, but on the non-profit basis. We can describe the new social economy as the market economy is situated between profit-maximizing commercial firms and the tax-financed activities of the public sector. These organizations do not belong either to institutionalized producer or consumer, cooperatives, or to other self-help economic operators. They operate at a local level and are domestic in structure. It is not yet precisely defined in law. However, this is otherwise of subordinate significance. The solidarity economy focuses on tackling a range of challenges such as poverty, social inequality, support for disadvantaged groups, and environmental sustainability. In the solidarity economy, businesses and institutions are often community-owned and community-managed. Government decisions are organization on democratic principles. Social enterprises are the most important pillar of the solidarity economy and have been increasingly common in Hungary in recent decades. In Hungary, representatives of the civil sector often use the term social enterprise instead of social entrepreneurship, and the emphasis of the role of environmental sustainability and community development. Vagvölgyi defines community enterprises as an organizational model that aims to strengthen local societies through the combined development and enrichment of social and natural capital. The use of the term of community enterprise often draws attention to the democratic nature and the organization. According to the European Commission, the term social enterprise refers to enterprises that serve a public interest or social purpose and use their profits to achieve these social objectives, have a democratic or participatory ownership system and organization, and have principles that are consistent with social justice. Social enterprises perform a wide range of activities. These may be divided into two broad categories: labor market services and social services. Some social enterprises perform both activities simultaneously. In Hungary, social cooperatives were created by Act 10 of 2006. In terms of the definition of the social purpose and the target group covered by the activities of social cooperatives, the Act is permissive by international standards. You can see the historical development of social enterprises, changes in the legal framework after the regime change. In the first half of 1990s, it was explosive growth, beneficial regulations. There were more foundations and associations. In the middle of 1990s, it was a big polarization by the social enterprises, and after 2010, changed the government, created a new civil law, less funding, more centralized, distribution, a tax on independent organizations. What does it mean, social cooperatives? Social cooperatives is a community enterprise organized on a voluntary basis, based on the primacy of the community interest, with the primary aim of creating work opportunities for its disadvantaged members and otherwise helping to improve their social situation. You can see on the map the number of social cooperatives by county level in Hungary in 2024. You can see that in the northern part of Hungary, there are a lot of social cooperatives. In this region, there are a lot of very small settlements, and in this settlement are the most important workplaces created by the social cooperatives. I have conducted field research in several domestic social enterprises, and I will describe the best known example. The Village Farmers Social Cooperative was founded by 7 individuals in 2008. It was a grassroots initiative, is less typical of the Alsó-Mocsalád Village Farmer Social Cooperative. Rather, it is a top-down municipal initiative, socialized and embraced by the individuals who joined the cooperative. The mission of the social cooperative is to explore and implement alternative income-generating and supplementary activities to reduce the unemployment rate in the municipality, to improve equal opportunities, to promote social integration, to boost community life, and to strengthen the sense of the identity and cooperation of the people living in the municipality. The focus is on economic development, which requires the development and the implementation of an appropriate strategy and the provision of allocated resources. The municipality has a micro-regional economic development strategy in place, a strategy for the development of the economy in the municipality, drew up in cooperation with the surrounding municipalities. This social cooperative represents a completely new aspect of community job creation. On the other hand, it means community development. On the other hand, it means job creation, economic development, and enterprise development. A residential care home for elderly people with 42 beds have been applied for and set up. A quarter of the users of which are resident of Alsó-Mocsalád settlement are very popular. The municipality provides a significant amount of non-repayable subsidy for house renovation, 50% of which is accounted for regots. Regots is a local money in this small settlement. You can see some photos of Alsó-Mocsalád settlement. You can see this is a very attractive and very nice places, and you can see the regots, the local currency. What is the main characteristics of successful social cooperatives? Sensitivity to the recognition of local needs, how well the organization can recognize latent needs. Clear mission and values, committed, proactive people running a social enterprise, collaborative, inspiring, create culture within organizations, community involvement, encouraging collaboration, involving peers, partners, and experts, involving local heroes who take the cause to heart, and the democratic way of working is very important by social cooperatives. Characteristics of social cooperatives in Hungary. Both social cooperatives and the solidarity economy contribute to promoting social and economic justice, reducing inequalities and promoting community development. In Hungary, these alternative economic models are receiving increasing attention in order to build a sustainable and inclusive future. The social enterprises are organized around a few key people. It is not so good, but it's a very unique situation in Hungary. The community operates several different types of organizations to achieve a long-term social and environmental goal and mission. This is the most efficient way to use the resources provided by a hectic and unpredictable funding system. Social enterprises that work well in localities often become competitors of local government, and the viability and strengths of civil society organizations mirror the strengths of the society. Our main conclusion, both social cooperatives and solidarity economy contribute to promoting social and economic justice, reducing inequalities and promoting community development. In Hungary, these alternative economic models are receiving increasing attention in order to build a sustainable and inclusive future. It can be seen that as social and territorial disparities increase, the strongest social economy initiatives are not necessarily found in the most disadvantaged groups and regions, and the conditions for social innovation are stronger in the more developed regions. Thank you so much for your kind attention. And if you have questions, please send me an email. And I wish you a very nice and very fruitful conference. Thank you so much for the opportunity.